All right, Fiends up against BTK. Fiends on the blue side. First pick right here. Now, we said it earlier, Weezy. We said that, like, Fiends they've won some games against some they've made a name for themselves. But there's much more. There's bigger opponents to face. They had a nice eased-in season, I feel like. And now you're going up against BTK. Next week, you're going up against GG. You know, how are they really going to compete here? Bans and drafts are in.
Now, I will say, though, I mean, me and you both can attest to this. A lot of teams have a struggle when it comes to taking down the top two, right? It's like a brick wall when they go up against the Bloodthirsty Kings and Gaming Gladiators, and we don't really see a lot of teams able to close that distance when it comes to micro and macro. But now, Fiends getting their chance to showcase to the world what they're capable of, putting everything on the line. BTK, starting it off with the bans, is going to go ahead and take down that Angela. Now, I will say, BTK has been profiting a lot on this Akai recently. We've been seeing it be slotted. I think it's one of the best heroes for Mobile Zane, especially running that frontline composition. He doesn't really need much help when he can use that heavy spin and get these neutral objectives. That should be the focus for Fiends. In my personal opinion, they got to stop this man's Akai. It used to be the Fredrin, but the Akai is a little bit more of a threat. But speaking of threats, there is a little bit of bans on the way for the frontline junglers. We are going to go ahead and see not only the export banned out from BTK, which could be flexed to the XP lane, but on the other side, the Fredrin and the Barrettes.
So I'm pretty sure this is official. Fiends did not ban their first ban. Whether it was we didn't know what to do, we planned this, I don't know, but that is official right there. No ban for Fiends. I'm almost positive, I'm 90% sure. BTK, on the other hand, take out the Angel, like you said, take out the I'm mind blanking. That missive ban is like really messing with my brain right now. I'm like, take out the X-Org. So yeah, we're doing the GG route against BTK right now. We're banning into Mobazane. You know, and this has worked for many teams, but I think this could be a year that you know, you got to be careful about it, because BTK has a lot of other hard hitters on their team this year, and Mobazane has showed that, like, he still has some other things up his sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, the Akai is still available. It looks like they probably didn't ban that out. They go for the CC. Do they go the Akai right here? I mean, I'm wondering if so. I mean, it's definitely one of the stronger junglers, and he has the Boxia still. We haven't seen the Boxia recently from him, but it's still an option. Nolan is still on the table. Could be picked up from either side to deal some damage. They're already facing up against one thing, though, and that is going to be the CC in the XP lane. CC, one of those high mobile heroes that's really good on getting to not only the back line, but creating the split push opportunity for the neutral objectives. One of the only heroes that can really keep up with this CC is going to be that Benedetta, who's very highly mobile. I wouldn't say it's a direct counter to it, though. Another hero that would be good is the Ruby, somebody to at least slow her down and be able to fight the fight in the XP lane against her and provide a denial for the split push.
Yeah, so it is 100% now. That ban was just missed by Fiends. We don't know why, but yeah, they did not ban. BTK, you mentioned it. They go for the Faramis up front. Arlot's open. They decided not to pick that up either, so there goes the Ruby ban. I don't know, man. They're giving a lot over to Fiends right here. They're giving up to CC. They're giving up Arlot if they want it. They're giving up Vexana if they want it. They're giving up a whole lot to the Fiends. Fiends go for the Novaria and the Minotaur right here. BTK, I don't know if this is all part of the plan, if they're kind of a little overconfident here, but that's a lot of value over to the side of the Fiends.
Do they go Akai, though? This is actually similar to yesterday. They had the Ruby, they had the Faramis, and it worked kind of out in their favor, providing that sustainability. I think the Ruby's more for the maybe the XP lane, maybe for the CC, still can be flexed to the roam position. We know for a fact the Faramis should be in the mid lane. I mean, last time we got to see Nicolette run that. She did really well, so possible game plan and a strategy. Minotaur has been picked up from Fiends, is going to have the Minoan Fury, is going to have some good knockup, especially up against a team that has to kind of stack around the Faramis to provide some heals when it comes to that Nether Realm. But they do have the Ruby. There goes the Akai we were talking about, though. I don't know why this walks. A lot of teams just let it walk. I mean, honestly, I think it's about time to put some respect on Mobazane's Akai. But hey, maybe there's a plan for Fiends as we are into the second phase of the draft.
It almost feels like this is a better pick for Zane than the Fredrin, mainly because it works so well against other utility junglers, man. It really just helps them open up in these, open up Lord Pits, open up turtles. Like, just anytime there's a big neutral objective on the field, it does so well on counterplay to so many things that other teams want to bring. Also, he just does so well in tight positions, getting those pins, finding pickoffs, the ambushes, all of the above. This is definitely a pick that maybe isn't the most popular utility jungle for everybody, but Zanis shows that it works very, very well in his hands.
Do you think we see a Martis? I mean, if Martis walks through this, Fiends could pick that up for the jungle. I mean, there's a lot of CC they have to go through, so I think an anti-CC jungler is not the worst decision, especially up against Mobazane, who's already going to be running that Akai. There goes that Benedetta being banned out. We talked about one of the XP lane matchups up against the CC. Maybe they're expecting this Ruby to be slotted in that roam position. Definitely could be a possibility. Now, I think the X-Borg has been banned out. I would have said that definitely could have been an option over there for the side of BTK. Carry being taken off the board, one of those staple marksmen, kind of limiting down the opportunity in the gold lane for Fiends. And they have Kahari. That's Tony Montana. That's Kahari the Brave over there they got to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely got to watch out for it. And Fiends, I think they want the Claude here to counter out the Faramis. I think BTK, high chance they pick it up to kind of stop that from them, especially since they didn't ban it. Noland is still open. There's still some options open if Fiends wants to pick that up. It's kind of hyper aggressive. It could be a little dangerous, especially with a Ruby and a Faramis, but like Fiends, kind of, you're at a point where if you're going to go up against the best of the best, you know, if you're going to go up against the top 2, top 3, top 4 teams, you have to feel comfortable in the rest of your team to kind of go for different types of compositions. The Arloth gets banned out. BTK now on first pick. I think they got to pick up the Claude here. You also deny that from Kohari, which he showed he does amazing on the Claude, which is one of your biggest counters right now with the Faramis. Plus, you get the Purify, so you're able to kind of deal with that heavy spin and not be as threatened from it. I think it's an important pick here for BTK. Go for the Paquito.
There goes the Paquito pickup, though. I mean, you know, another marksman pickup can be the Ixia as well over there for BTK. I wonder if they're going to slot that in, provide them even more CC for these setups. I think overall they have a pretty solid composition, right? You have somebody to get to the back line, 2 heroes, actually 3, Milo, Mobazane, and Cold World to be able to get the job done. It's going to be very hard for Fiends to rush in onto these neutral objectives with this composition against them, right? You not only have the heavy spin from Akai, you have the Nether Realm to keep them alive, you have the CC, the Arm Offended from the Ruby, and there's not really any anti-CC in play. But speaking about things in play, his second appearance for today, Kohari the Brave, Mr. Tony Montana, bold statement, picks up the Roger.
This Roger, at this point it's sealed, right? It's meta now, right? It's pickable. It's no longer just a joke. It's no longer just is this viable or not? We've seen it work. We've seen it not work. We've seen it have work, but it's not doing horrible. And there's your Martis pick, something that can maybe dance around with the Akai, deal with some of the CC. So I think it's a decent pick. Will Nicolette, you know, get crazy? No, we need a gold laner for the side of BTK.
Ixia. I'm going to say Ixia is probably going to be slotted here, maybe for some additional CC. The Claude,
Claude's
you did
open.
mention that could
Basic
be an
has
option.
a good Claude.
Yeah, I think the Claude would be okay too. He's going to have to watch out for that Minotaur, but I do think it could be an option. I think the Ixia, with this composition, at least this is what they've ran before. Exact combination on top of that, but it's going to be one of those two. No, it's going to be the Harith. They're going to go completely different, and I'm wondering why. This is actually the first time I've seen a Harith in the gold up against a Roger in the gold.
Well, you still normally pick up the Purify on the Harith, right? Which I think you definitely want something that can rock the Purify and feel comfortable with it, which is why the Claude was kind of the pick for me. But now you get the Harith, who also is going to rock Purify, which means the Minoan's Fury is not as much of a threat to you. Some of those things just aren't as much of threats to you. But as you said, how is it going to pair up against the Roger? Like, none of these matchups we really know, right? Because we haven't ever seen them. Like, even when Roger was meta, he wasn't a gold laner, he was a jungler, right? So nobody really knows exactly how this is going to work out. He does have the chase, right? He has the Lycan Pounce, so he does have a way to close the distance when it comes down to, you know, later in the game. Definitely going to be interesting overall, though.
Yeah, now we are going to be seeing Fiends going head-to-head up against BTK. First match of the day for the 3rd series, the number 2 versus the number 3. Who will be able to take their first victory and have the advantage for the series?
Hey, let's get this clear. They are tied in points right now. This is the number 2 up against the number 2. Oh. This is for the decision here. Lay down this story, right? But yeah, no, I mean, and it's true. And nobody thought Fiends would even be here, right? And right now they are going up against BTK and thought of as equals. But I'll tell you what's not equal: the audience predictions. The biggest landslide we've seen yet, 85% for BTK, Weezy.
That's right. Everybody placing those votes. BTK, no secret, leading the way there. I mean, they've definitely been a little bit more successful than a lot of teams overall in NACT. Just a little bit. But we are going to see right now, Mobazane running for more comfortability, running on this Akai, does go in for that concussive blast. The Roger will be slotted over there by Kohari. First time me actually being able to see him play this out with the Quantum Charge. Will be very mobile. Goes in for the Purify. Looks like he's worried about the CC combination from the Bloodthirsty Kings. Going to probably proc that, jumping with the Lincoln Pounce for some possible pickoffs for the low HP hero pool from BTK. But he is going to have to watch out from Nicolette, who is running this Faramis in the mid lane to keep their team alive in the middle of all the chaos.
You know, when you get a team like BTK, when you get a team like GG that go up against teams that are essentially new, they're going to push their buttons a little bit, right? They're going to be aggressive, and we're already seeing it from BTK. They're in their face. They are testing them right now, and it's like, and if Fiends does not kind of bite back, BTK is going to stay in their face all of this game, all of next game. So Fiends have to try to look for a moment where they can, you know, get a kill, capitalize, and this is exactly what they're doing. Pro Destroy now in trouble. BTK just going to keep pushing in. This is what we're going to continue to see from them until Fiends does something about it.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what you get when you allow Akai to walk through the table, right? He's a bully when it comes to rotating around and harassing the enemy jungle. You're looking at BTK, going to go ahead and pull the aggro for this turtle. Magic, given some vision, not really sure. He's not going to be able to contest this. Pro Destroy, a little bit of a delay in the jungle since BTK decided to invade, stalling him. And that is going to be Mobazane securing the turtle for the Bloodthirsty Kings, giving them an advantage. And for the XP lane and the gold lane, their side laners, all of them getting a little bit of that XP boost. Bloodthirsty Kings, we know they're a team that could take an advantage. You give them an inch, they take a mile.
Basic, we should rename Basic to the taunting god, man, from last season to now. He's been the talk, right? He's been the guy who really likes to give it to you, and this guy's hitting him with the toss right now. And I'm telling you, man, BTA is going to continue to just disrespect Fiends until Fiends, you know, makes a move on it.
Yeah, I mean, you said this is a battle for that number 2 position, right? Both of these teams currently tied up, and only one will be able to claim that seat. As you are seeing some of the items on the board, both teams getting ready to deal some damage. Akai picking up that Molten Essence, help him rotate around, clear some of these minions, deal that damage with it. You're looking at the Paquito. Doesn't fully go in for the boots, goes in for a little bit of damage to top that off. You have to watch out for him. He's been a little bit more of that heavy hitter, especially after the recent patch where they buffed his damage overall for the skill 1 and skill 2.
BTK taking the route of more of the invade route, and I do think there is a worry on the board for BTK. It's the CC, right? And we know CC doesn't have the most aggressive early game, but if Uneven can kind of go through this laning phase unscathed, which it's 0-0 right now, it is going to scale above that Paquito, man, and it could become a problem, but it does look like they're finally going to try to make the move on Uneven. Mobazane looking for the knock-up. They come in. Milo able to get the kill there, pick it up with the flicker, and now there's a little bit of trouble. Minoan's Fury does come down, gets a knock-up, and Mobazane still finds the kill, and with a heavy spin, Fiends cannot engage.
Yeah, just too much CC to walk into. I mean, a full brick wall on the bot side from the Bloodthirsty Kings and the invade.
A lot of damage. On to Pro Destroy there. He uses the retreat, still unable to get that orange buff. Pro Destroy now forced to run away. Milo does go down. Trobami able to pick up the kill, but Mobazane still gets the buff. And overall, it feels like a comfortable trade for BTK.
Now, early aggression, though, could work for Fiends' favor. They're kind of having a little bit of a struggle, though, especially when you have a Martis and a Roger on the same side. The Lincoln Pounce and the Decimation together could be disastrous, but BTK being able to be the bully inside of the jungle, rotating around, denying the farm away from Pro Destroy, not allowing him to even have a chance to deny or contest these turtles. And now Fiends in a position, may be able to take down Basic, 50% HP. Pro Destroy wrapping around, might go in for the Decimation, but Mobazane looking like he's rotating to the bot side for a play as well.
Oh, Basic knows they're coming. The Minoan's Fury comes out. Basic sidesteps. Cold World finally into this fight. Some on-force down. Basic is safe. There was some stress there for a second, though, man. All 4 of them went up, but they missed the engage. Yeah,
you are going to see some anti-heal picked up from Nicolette. Necklace Endurance. Worried about Fiends over there. Some great itemization. Milo, though, will find Uneven off screen.
That's huge. And I want to point something out. I was talking about Basic going for the Purify. He goes for the more aggressive choice here, I feel like. He goes for the Flicker instead. And again, it just goes to show, I think he feels confident, right? He feels good. He drops Minoan's horse down. He doesn't feel like he's even going to get hit by this Minoan's Fury at all. He's not worried about it.
Yeah, he has the Impure Rage on top of that for some additional damage. And you're already seeing Kohari having a little bit of trouble up against the Magic there to protect him. Cold World as well. 3-1 though. BTK leading in terms of kills and overall objectives.
Oh, Milo does take a little bit of damage here. Able to get the win over on Pro Destroy there. They are just denying them everything right now, man. Purple buff now up and Pro Destroy back at base. Mobazane should be able to run away with this safely.
Yeah, I mean, he's just being such a threat with the Sakai. Should be able to get out of there. I'm not sure if they're going to take that fight, but if they want to, BTK will be able to pull that off. I mean, they have the numbers and the sustainability, and now on the top side, you are looking at Basic working on that tier 1 turret.
He doesn't get the final hit. Kohari does a nice chunk of damage there. Cold World's always by his side, though. He's just hugging up on that gold lane.
Yeah, but that turret hanging on by a thread in the play.
Oh, no one's Fury. NetherRealm does come out. The Alma Offended locks on and Magic goes down. Kohari now in a little bit of trouble. Does have some defensiveness, but goes down in the end. Basic picking up the kill.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade. 5-1 Basic, increasing his damage with the recall spams. Cold World joining the party right there. I think they're battling. It's like a little squat challenge between both of them right now. But you are going to see the proxy of the mid lane minions may be able to take this objective if Fiends is not careful. They're slowly finding themselves in a hole that they may not be able to climb out of if they don't find some objectives fast.
Yeah, BTK giving them the warm welcome right now. Oh, Milo! And the I'm Offended connects as well onto Magic there. Magic forces try to flicker away. Mobazane not going to let him get away. A double kill for Milo. Huge plays by BTK. All in your face right now. Welcome to the big leads is what they're saying. This is looking rough for Fiends. It's a 6,000 gold deficit. Lord going to be up in about 90 seconds.
It's funny, everybody recall spamming but Nicolette being a little bit more classy than the rest.
Classy, you keep it classy.
Tier 1 turret. BTK now getting control even more on the map, and Fiends struggling to find an opportunity. 7-1, 3 turrets down, 3 turtles in their hands, and a 6,000 gold lead.
Yeah, the pressure is there. The pressure is on. Fiends at this point know, all right, we got to buy time, right? We just saw Kohari up in the top side taking the gold crab, getting, trying to get whatever they can. Same thing. They also need Chirobani to level up. The damage is starting to be there, with those meteors, with those hits, but it's still not enough just yet. Fiends needs probably, with the way things are going, maybe 10 more minutes or so till there's an opportunity. Minoan's Fury does come down. Kohari trying to clean things up. No like it's Pounce, though. Decides not to engage. Mobazane taking a little bit of damage. Magic does finally go down. Tower drops as well on the top side. Basic. Kazumayam up there.
Yeah, Lightning Truncheon picked up from Nicolette to do some echo damage onto the team of Fiends as well if they're not careful. Milo, off to a really good start. Highest kills on the board for the Bloodthirsty Kings. 5-1-1 on this Paquito. Basic 2-0-0. Hasn't fallen yet. With this Harith pickup, definitely doing a little bit better against the Roger, who has yet to find a kill. Speaking of kills, big stun.
Oof, Milo locked on, looking for the last strike. Not able to get the knockout punch there. Uneven, able to get away safely. Fiends hanging on for dear life right now.
Yeah, hanging on to dear life and needing to find a lifeline right now if they want to turn this around. The Lord has spawned in. BTK will pull the aggro of this pit, have control. Fiends, what's interesting? Their composition, they have a Roger and a Martis, which means, oh, wait a second, Nicolette!
A lot of damage on Nicolette. Well played by Kohari, finally putting a kill under his name, and there's the damage. Fiends starting to show a little bit of possibilities. Uneven, takes a punch to the face, but backs off.
Yeah, Nicolette need to be careful, especially being the backline, but Cold World.
Cold World in trouble. NetherRealm comes in the nick of time, a Basic versus Kohari. Kohari takes him out. This is what we want to see. Fiends showing why they're here so that we can still play even with a 7,000 gold deficit.
That's Kohari the Brave right there. 2-1-0 on this Roger. You got to be careful if anybody can pull off a tip. The recall back. Milo seconds away from bursting him down.
My guys, that's why we call him Kohari the Brave. He's got some cojones. He's ready to play. He's always ready to get there, be there, and is willing to risk it for the biscuit. Fiends now maybe want to try to contest this Lord. Milo looking for a route around the back. Chirobani in a bad spot. Needs to get through that wall. Cold World takes a little bit of damage. Mobazane also getting zoned away from Kohari. Fiends definitely not out of this at all.
Yeah, not out of it. BTK trying to bait them into this Lord, wants them to take this fight. They know they have the CC, the sustainability to outlast, but they have to watch out for Kohari, who's able to kind of burst down with the crit damage, and that's something you have to kind of look out for. BTK, though, closing in onto the members of Fiends, but Kohari with the response back.
Oh,
been
no.
spotted out.
Kohari might not be able to survive this one. Goes down Basic. Gets the revenge kill. Magic now in a little bit of trouble. Basic finds another one with the double. Milo into the backside. First is Churro away. And now the pin onto Pro Destroy. Basic drops him on force. Pro Destroy not going to be able to get away this time. The toss comes out from Opposane. They're looking for the last hit. Pro Destroy finally falls. Well played by BTK.
You could tell he wanted that decimation. Basic was almost low enough for him to be able to get that kill, but nonetheless, a good try. This is what happens when you run a Roger alongside a Marta. So both of them, they try and go in for the low HP heroes, but when nobody's low HP and Roger can't get that crit off, and they both get spotted out and focused in terms of target locking, that's when you have a massive advantage toward that mid to late game. And BTK putting on more pressure inside the jungle.
Uneven though, man. Like, I still can't count Fiends out just yet. We're seeing the scale slowly happen. And the thing is whether they, like, even if they lose this game, I got to give it up to them, man. They're putting up a decent fight for such a deficit, and these are the things I look for in, like, aspiring teams, right? Can you hang on even when you're this far behind? And Fiends is doing that right now.
Yeah, look at Milo, though, up by 3,000 gold, up against Uneven. Does have the Blade of Heptases and the Hunter Strike and the Malefic Roar to deal more damage. On top of a Legion Sword, maybe going in for a Blade of Despair to deal some high physical damage. As another turret will fall. Lord marching in on the top side. The I'm Offended.
I'm Offended on Churro. Bonnie Basic, able to take out the tower. Nicolette finds the kill. It's a nice trade for BTK. Lord still coming. Mobazane takes a little bit of damage there, but should be okay. Lord finally going to crash into the top inhibitor. Pro Destroy trying to hold down the front side. Magic maybe looking for Minoan's Fury here. Does have it in the kit, ready to pop off, but holding on to it, waiting for the right moment. They're going to melt down the Lord finally. Inhibitor does go down mid as well. Here comes the Minoan's Fury. Nice flicker. Can the rest of the team capitalize on it? Netherrealm comes out. BTK still up. Magic goes down. Mobazane taking a lot of damage. Back to full bar health because of the Netherrealm. No. Pro Destroy into the midst of them. Looking for a decimation, but not able to connect in time. Zamon's Force comes down. Basic against Kohari. Once again, and there's the flicker. The toss, unable to get the kill. Still a minion on the field, though. BTK doesn't close it out just yet. Another wave coming in.
They want more.
Cold World does have the I'm Offended ready to go. Milo with the godlike kill on a Kohari. Locked onto the base, and BTK looking for the finish. The double for Milo. And that is it. BTK takes game number 1.
Sealing the deal. Game number 1. 13-minute finish. 11K gold lead. Spearheading the way. The Bloodthirsty Kings off to a great start up against Fiends.
Good start indeed. I mean, just holding down the front, being so aggressive. And when you said it in the beginning, this is something Fiends is going to have to watch out for. And BTK showed it to be true easy.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little risky, right? They ran the Roger, the Martis combination. I mean, that would kind of require them to take off in the early phase. And BTK running that Akai, running that Ruby, being very sustainable, having that Faramis to back them up. They were able to deny the rotations from Pro Destroy to be able to get not only to his purple buff, not only to his orange buff, but even the turtle and Lord plays. I feel like overall, when it came to the objectives, BTK stampeding through. I mean, look at it, 16-3, very fast game at that 13-minute mark. And it could have boiled down to them skipping their first ban. I wonder what really happened there. I feel like that should have been the Akai ban, if anything.
Yeah, could have been the Akai ban.
Should have been. But maybe they will plan something differently as we jump into the second match.
Could have been the Akai, could have been the Faramis. And this is the thing about BTK right now, right? Is it's just they prioed the Ruby and the Faramis, and it just shows how much confidence like Nicolette has in this pick. It shows how much confidence Cold World has in this pick, and it just goes to show, you know, banning like, and those aren't super meta picks. Those aren't like always on the ban list right now. They are sometimes, but not all the time. And it shows that BTK has some options even if you ban out the meta, right? And then Mobazane on the Akai, and it just kind of really, it adds a layer of depth to the team overall.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Faramis pickup here. I think it was because usually if we don't see the Faramis, we see the Mathilda. If a team lets it walk there, at least it was with GG. And that's what really shines with the Akai. But then when you can get that Faramis up front and you can get that Ruby, I mean, you have sustainability, you have CC on top of that. These, even if Zane did not get that Akai, they are able to zone out teams to the neutral objectives just with those two heroes alone to kind of help them profit on something like a Boxia, something like a Fredrin. As you are seeing the rich guy going over to Milo himself, most gold per minute. I think he's just stashing gold inside of those gloves with how heavy he was hitting with that Paquito. Head-to-head, though, Mobazane up against Pro Destroy, 1-0-11, just playing that utility jungler at its finest and showcasing above 10 for his overall rating.
Yeah, I mean, definitely above average for Mobazane. Pro Destroy this time up against some of the big dogs, up against Mobazane here. Not able to keep up today. And I think what it really is BTK just played as such a unit that game. Cold World always there in the nick of time for basic. Nicolette able to save the day with some of those Nether Realms. In Mielo just putting on so much pressure. That was 58,000 damage leading for the side of BTK.
I think it's funny because it's 0% Team 5 participation over there from the Martis, but I don't think that was true. But nonetheless, it was still a very good game overall for the Bloodthirsty Kings. If we got to kind of break down a little surgical here on what we have to see Fiends do to turn this back around and possibly take it to a game 3. Number one, man, you got to have a plan for that Akai. A lot of teams are struggling against it right now. Even Gaming Gladiators were defeated by it from BTK with that reverse sweep. So I will say that's number one. Number two, don't skip a ban. I'm not really sure what happened there, but that's not something I recommend for anybody on the professional scene. You got to make the most out of every opportunity ahead of you. Number three, I don't really agree too much with going I would say not three-dimensional, but I wouldn't even consider that three-dimensional. I would say that's a little above three-dimensional. That's like four-dimensional when you pull out some risky plays against one of the top prospects in your region. I feel like you need to go for something that's a little bit more standardized, something that's a little bit more common meta, and not like all over the place. And I feel like that will work better for them jumping into game number two. But speaking of game number two, here we are inside of the draft. BTK with match point against Fiends.
Yeah, I think they need something to stop those invades. And I think also Fiends has to not be scared. They need something that can kind of deal with the laning phase, deal with the early game aggression, and not be scared to take those fights in the laning phase. You're up against a team like GG, you're up against a team like BTK, you're up against a team like DA or whoever. Like, you have to be ready to listen. If they're going to come to us at 30 seconds in, we got to be willing to go for it, right? We can't let them do that. You can't just back up when they come into your jungle. And yes, BTK did kind of have the advantage, but before Nicolette hit level 4, the Netherrealm wasn't too scary, and you did have they had the Martis, who has some crazy early game damage, right? Who has a good way to deal with early game. So Fiends needs to think about that, about how they approach this laning phase, because that's what's going to set the tone for BTK. So maybe they'll do something different here. They do get their first ban this time. The Matilda goes out, and the Ruby goes out. So already immediately changing their thought patterns compared to last game.
Yeah, they're not going for the strategy of just banning Mobazane, right? They're trying to ban the utility across the board, which has been a lot of the problem for them. Now, this is going to put Mobazane in a great position, though. He has a lot more flexibility on what junglers he wants to pick up, especially in the first half of the draft. Now, do we see him pick up the Barats? The Barats is picked as an option over there for BTK. We've seen teams stack it up with the Rafaela. The Faramis is on the table. I don't think BTK will take the Faramis right off the beginning, especially with there being a Valentina, but could kind of wait it out and pick that in the second half of the draft if available. But right now, with what I'm seeing, I think a strong option would be something, at least for the side of BTK. Maybe the Akai, maybe not, but the Barats is also another strong pickup. I think this creates him a very, very good opportunity. And this is probably where BTK starts to shine against other teams, because you have teams that focus on just trying to draft him out, and then it allows them to pick things across the board for multiple members on their team. But when they don't draft him out, he gets very comfortable in that jungle.
Well, it's definitely now first pick. Arlott still open for BTK if they want it. Vexana open, a lot of things still on the field. The Barats for Mobazane. I mean, that's kind of been the go-to when it's there. But we're also seeing BTK get confident in a lot of their players, so I wouldn't count them out to not slot Mobazane first, maybe,
Navaria is available too. I mean, maybe just getting Nicolette that Navaria right here and just waiting it out and seeing what Fiends picks, because they still can pick up that Barat. And even if they allow Fiends to pick up the Barats, I mean, they have the Navaria that can provide that slow from the back line, and there's still some other options on the table to stop them. So I think, yeah, even the Nolan. So I think the Navaria would be a safer option, just picking that up. Not something, I mean, I guess you have the Valentina on the other side, which could technically kind of profit off of it, but they're going to go in for the Fredrin instead, locking in the jungle nice and early for BTK.
And they go for the Fred over the Barats. And I think that's just a comfort pick right there for Zane. MOBA Fred, as some people like to call him. So, I mean, it's definitely comfortability. And at this point now, Fiends have to respond. Do they pick up utility as well? Do they pick up the Barats? Which I think is a good answer, right? You have the Daytona's welcome. You have an answer to Mobazane in that turtle pit, in that Lord pit. Or do they get crazy and go aggressive and pick up the Nolan? I don't think they're really ready for that right now, just because BTK was already bullying them last game when they had a a fighter jungle, let alone if they pick an assassin jungle or something,
Kohari getting comfortable is going to lock in that carry. They're going to get another meta pickup with that Vexana. Now, I do think that the carry is going to be a little hard to kind of pull off, especially against basic. He's one of those marksmen that prefers to go up against the carry. He's actually comfortable running against it. He is going to go ahead and use this Irithel, though. I would have expected maybe a Harith or something like that, but the Irithel has been showcased a little bit today and in previous matches for the NACT spring season. Not as often as a Harith, but still a viable pickup.
And maybe they just slot. We saw it earlier when we saw maybe they just slot something like the Raph later on in this draft, something for Cold World, kind of switch up strategies, change it up a little bit from what we saw last time. They go for the R-Lot, which again could definitely be flexed. Cold World can definitely play it. Mielo can definitely play it. All those options are there. And finally, the Barats is locked in for Fiends. Now on to the bans. Fiends need a both teams need a Fiends need a jungler and an EXP laner. I mean, a roamer and an EXP laner.
They might need a jungler if they put the Barats in the XP lane. I mean, we have seen teams do that. We've seen Fried Chicken run it. I mean, it is a possibility if they do go that route. But we are going to be looking at some strong frontline compositions from both sides in terms of the jungle, right? The Barats up against the Fredrin, both of them able to invade really well and sustain themselves. You are looking at no healing, though. No support heroes being picked up yet. And it looks like that's the focus right now for the bans. Angela and the Rafaela both banned out very swiftly over there from BTK. And on the other side, we are seeing the Faramis off the table. So there's not really too many more healers out there. I mean, there's like a Florian could be slotted in. And we have seen a Florian showcase before. It's just not as hot as the other options.
And Fiends is a team that is known to pick up these two heroes, right? The Kohari connection with Magic Man and the with either the Raph or the Angela, and BTK has definitely done their homework. Coach Midnight, has definitely done his homework, and Angela's on the chopping block immediately. Raph comes in second phase just to make sure, because a Barats and a carry could be lethal with a Raph behind it. Could be a big problem with a Rafaela behind it. Nana going to get banned out from Fiends. Nicolette still needs a mage. This could be one of those games we see the Luyi, I feel like.
This could also be a game where we see a Minotaur slotted in, because Minotaur would be great for the group CC. I feel like for either side, maybe BTK slots in the Minotaur to get the setup. It'll stop that Barats, especially when he tries to go in for these neutral objectives. You are going to have to watch out for Kohari, though, on this carry. I mean, you're already having not only the R-Lot, but also the Fredrin, which is going to have to watch out for the Speedy Light Wolves. If BTK does not go the support method, I wonder what roamer they will pick up. I think a Minotaur would be okay. It could be an option. The Grok is still on the table. I mean, if there is a Minotaur on one side, maybe the Grok on the other can negate some of that CC, get a good wild charge off. But nonetheless, a lot of options are being limited later in this draft. CC for the XP lane up against the R-Lot. Both of these heroes very good in the XP lane. I feel like the CC is a little bit more mobile, but the R-Lot synergizes well with the crowd control composition that BTK has.
Yeah, and Uneven did well on it last game, even though they lost. You saw the damage start to scale. Fiends just has to not fall off too hard in the early game this time. The composition is definitely good from Fiends. This is, just a textbook, decent picks, well-rounded, frontline, shred, all the above. A little bit of early game, little mid, little late. Maybe still lacking a little bit in laning phase for Fiends, but they do have the defense there. BTK, like I said, I got a feeling we might see Nicolette Luyi here, man. There's not much else for her to pick right now. Valentina, I think Valentina Luyi is really the two options on the field right now for her. There's Luyi, and then Grok. There's the Grok pick for BTK.
We both get one. But the Luyi, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, that's a really good. I think Luyi works great against the Barats because he's such a big target and he's not as mobile unless he uses that Detna's Welcome. You are going to have to watch out for Uneven on the CC, though, who will try and close that distance. But with the Grok and the Luyi combination, I mean, I think that's a really strong draft from the Bloodthirsty Kings. When we're looking at the side of Fiends, though, they do have some answers. They have the carry who can soak in not only to the Grok, also the R-Lot, also the Fredrin. But Kohari's going to have to get online. We've seen him run the Roger last game. Basic was able to pretty much dominate him. He ran that Harith, and we didn't really get to see the Roger get online for the power spikes we were looking for. And hopefully that's what they can kind of lean in on this game, getting that carry. I think this is something we've seen Kohari profit on a little bit more often than a Roger this NACT spring season, and it is going to be a possible problem. But you are going to see problems going with the Ube strat
Oh.
Estes in the building.
You could ban out the Angela. You could ban out the Florin. You could ban out the Raph. But we're still going to get something here. So, yes, very Ube-esque. But the Lu Yi, I want to talk about that real quick because for those that don't know, Nicolette was like a forerunner of this hero. I mean, was picking this hero back when it was not meta at all, when nobody was really picking it, and was winning games against some of the best players in NA with it. So if there's anyone that I think could really show off with this hero, it is going to be Nicolette. Proccing the passive, getting that duality could be the big answer against this Estes, right? Because everyone's going to be grouped up. It should be an easy way to kind of proc that. Same thing, Wild Charge, Final Slash. BTK has some answers to this Estes. They just need to make those combos work.
And not to mention they have the R-Lot, so if you can get that duality out, then the R-Lot will get some additional CC to profit on as we are now jumping in to game number 2. The Bloodthirsty Kings up against Fiends. BTK currently sitting at match point, trying to close out with a sweep with Fiends, living to fight for another chance. But right before we jump into the Land of Dawn, we want to spend a little bit more time with you today. You know, Trex and me first time casting together. Just wanted to, we decided to pause the game.
Want to vibe.
Just to tell you guys that, you know, just to vibe. No, I'm kidding. There's a little bit of something going on in the background, but this gives us a little bit more time to discuss these lineups. You talked about Nicolette on the Lu Yi. Been such a threat. I think we've seen some other players. We've seen another Lu Yi workout today. The diversions were on point. It worked out with
Hoon
a
pick it
Roger.
the other day.
Yeah, and then we saw Hoon pick it up, and he was just dealing a lot of damage with it. And now we get to see Nicolette with her showcasing on it. Now this is an Estes though. Estes will be able to keep the team alive, but you know what the thing is with Estes? He requires the team to group up, and that's what Lu Yi loves to see.
Not only that, but the Estes and the Vex, you don't got much defense in your mid, right? You don't have much denying aggression to BTK, and this was something I was a bit worried about. I kind of wanted to see a bulkier, like you mentioned the Minotaur way earlier, I want to see something a bit bulkier on Fiends, because here's the thing, with BTK right now, with Grok, with Arla, with Moba Zane on Moba Fred, they're going to be in their face once again. Even though they have the Barats, they're going to be in their face, and Fiends are going to need to buy time. They need to be very careful. Magic and Churobami, they got targets on their head right now, man. Targets on their head right now, because there's no defense on that mid side right now.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you talk about the Moba Fred. I always used to say, like, Fredrin walks around with his hand in his pocket, and I think it's a picture of Moba Zane with how well they kind of synergize together. But, I mean, I do agree with you. If we kind of take a look at the first game, right, and we talk about Fiends. Fiends had a very hard time in the early phase, taking the neutral objectives. Moba Zane and BTK were able to invade very often and denying a lot of the farm away from Pro Destroy. But this time around, not running the Martis, running something that's a little bit more not only sustainable, but also having some support behind him to keep him alive. Is this the game changer? You are going to have to watch out, though. Cold World running on this Grok. Not really too much CC. I feel like he's going to have to worry about. I mean, maybe a little bit from Churobami, maybe a little bit from Pro Destroy. But I feel like the Grok should be able to open up a lot of these engagements with some great wild charges. For the side of Fiends, though, there's nothing to really stop Uneven on this CC. Not really grabbing him in his tracks. Maybe the final slash from the R-Lot. Maybe there is CC on the table, though. There's a lot of CC for BTK, but CC is not going to be stopped in her tracks in terms of being completely immobilized since there's no suppression. And I think if she should be able to get to the back line, maybe basic. I'm wondering what battle spell he's going to be running on this Iritha. I've seen it kind of ran with the sprint sometimes. Yeah. But I wonder if that's going to be the exact route he goes.
I mean, I feel like sprint's the route here, right? Because there's not a lot of, there's a CC, but there's not a lot of CC on Fiends, you know? There's not a lot of...
I think that gets me every time.
They just had to name a hero CC, right? But yeah, there's not that much crowd control. Yes, you have like the Eternal Guardian, you have the Detna's Welcome. So I think sprint will work well with him kind of running away from CC and kind of kiting around the team as they're all grouped up. I think the big thing for Fiends here is like a lot of times when you see this classic Ube strat, right? Like this is real classic Ube. Even though there's some slightly different heroes, it is the Barats and the Estes paired up. You're looking for that 7-minute mark. Like back when you used to see Blacklist do it, we would call it the rubber band. Even if they take a death or two early on, right around 6, you know, right around mid-game, as long as you're not, if you're only like 1,000 gold, 2,000 gold, it's not that big of a deal. You still start to hit your momentum around there. So that's kind of Fiends. That's the big goal here, right? Get Estes to level 4. Try not to take too many deaths, and wait for that, you know, second turtle to really start popping off. And then you can, and then like you said, with the CC, with those possibilities in there, shredding down, holding that front side, there's definitely some danger in Fiends composition if BTK lets it get out of control.
That's right. I mean, I love the rubber band effect. And not in just, speaking of rubber bands, can they bounce back from that loss in game number 1, right? Do they have enough elasticity to shoot it back on BTK's side of the court? Now, hey, we're almost closing in the regular season for NACT Spring and jumping closer to the playoffs, right? Fiends, BTK, both of them tied for the 2nd position. One team will be knocked down to the 3rd. And this is actually really big considering how this plays out determines who they face in the playoffs, right? I mean, that number 2 versus that number 3, they will have totally different seedings. The number 3 should, at least in theory, have a little bit of an harder matchup. The number 2 should have an easier matchup, and that's really what these two teams are kind of battling it out right now, is they're stacked up to 11 points. Now, Fiends, like we said, took down Area 77. That's the team that took down BTK. So if they find that momentum, if they can kind of dig deep, they may be able to pull it off. BTK, though, they've seemed, ever since that Area 77 loss, I think they kind of sat down, did a lot of homework, and tightened up their shot group, and they've been stronger than ever so far. I mean, it kind of goes to show from that great performance in game number 1. So the Louis pickup, I think that's something I'm excited to kind of see. It's funny how meta is shifting for North America. It's just changing the further and further we go in the NACT spring season. I think in the beginning, we didn't see a Louis, we didn't see a Roger, but now these things are kind of slipping through the cracks, and they're profiting.
I mean, it's definitely, there's just a lot changing, I feel like, and it's going to continue to change over the next few months. It seems like a lot of patches are coming in. We might even have another big patch before grand finals comes, which playoffs could be a completely different beast for all we know. We got, one more week and then another week. Just let everybody know, we just had to do a quick redraft. All the picks are exactly the same. There was just some bug issues or something. We'll be getting back to the game very shortly in just a few minutes. So yeah, I think Fiends, I like their composition. This is dumb, right? This is something that they like to run. This is kind of they're in their zone with this. They got the utility healing support roamer with them. They have a nice bulky frontliner jungle, and they got Kohari on one of his signature picks, the carry, which things that he's thrived on is like the carry and the Claude. So if there's a time for them to pull something off, this could be it.
Yeah, and this is their chance. Fiends, not off to the easiest start. BTK now at match point, trying to close out the series with a sweep. Fiends having a second chance to be able to hold it in. Can they do it? Can they claim that number 2 spot? Will BTK push forward and live up to the name? Now, unorthodox a little bit, but stepping. What's up? Oh,
that prediction. It's got to be swapped. It's got to be, because last time it was BTK with the 86%.
It's swapped. It is swapped. I'm looking on the channel. Okay, so it's 86% for BTK, 14 for Fiends. But hey, as we are looking at both these teams fighting it out, Cold World already taking some heavy hits.
Now, I do want to point something out. Fiends has not been swept yet. They have taken some losses, but they've always at least put one on the board. So if time tells correctly, even if they lose against BTK, there are, it's in their favor to maybe win a game here at least. I would love to see. I'd love to go to a game 3 between these two teams. Let's see if Fiends really has what it takes. Now, BTK are taking their time right now, and I don't know if that is the plan, man. I think they need to be moving fast and trying to close out Fiends' win condition as quick as possible.
Yeah, I mean, game number 1, we saw Mobazane and BTK kind of full send the jungle of Fiends, being very aggressive super early. But this time around, we're not seeing a Martis. We're seeing a Barat stacked up with an Estus to be able to keep them alive. And I think that's kind of forcing BTK to pull their punches a little bit more than what we often see. We are going to see this first turtle spawning in, though. Both teams getting ready to take this first neutral objective. Now, it's going to be a battle of sustainability from Fiends versus just pure damage and crowd control from the Bloodthirsty Kings. Overall, we have to see which one will kind of prevail and hit the mark early in the game, as you are going to see both teams fighting over this turtle.
Doing a lot of damage on Uneven there. Uneven's going to be forced to go back to base and not be involved in this fight. Cold World holding down the side. Churro right there as well. Nicolette and Milo coming in. Nice duality. Gets the CC. Protosaur takes a lot of damage. Eternal Guardian does come down. The final slash locks on a Protosaur, but the Tonus welcomes him in and passes him against the wall, but still goes down. Cold World picking up the kill. Protosaur finds one, though. It's a 2-for-1 right now. Uneven goes down to Nicolette. Nicolette now on the run. One more shot, and she's out of here. Mobazane able to find the turtle now. Going to move on to the enemy jungle camp. Nicolette still staying in the lane.
Yeah, 2-for-1 trade and a turtle for the side of the Bloodthirsty Kings. Good start for them. Not the easiest for Fiends. They are still in this, though. Need to find some answers. They need to find trades in the beginning. If they can't find these turtles, maybe go in for the turrets instead. Pro Destroyer got picked off right there. Milo was able to open up the opportunity with that final slash. He did fall in the process, though, finding his first death of the game, but the assist is what mattered the most to create that opportunity for the Bloodthirsty Kings. Speaking of matchups, though, we are seeing Basic on this Irithel, running that Quantum Charge. It's going to be very mobile. We asked about what battle spell he was going to be running. He actually is going in with the Purify. He's not going to go in for that sprint, but speaking of sprints, Cold World, Pro Destroyer kind of being a little bit of that bully that barats in the jungle, forcing him away from the invasion and the vision.
That's the just in case right there. That's the just in case. Oh, nice final slash on a churro. We'll get healed up from Magic. But the Purify is kind of clutch, right? Just in case he gets hit by a Detna's Welcome. Just in case an Eternal Guardian locks on. He can buy the little bit of extra time. Does take a couple shots from Kohari, but willing to go the 1v1. Nicolette with the diversion. The wild charge on a Kohari. Kohari back under the base. More fights ensue up in the top side. Pro Destroy misses the Detna's Welcome. And now is in a little bit of trouble. Basic. Mobazane gets the final shot, though. That's another kill for BTK.
And another death for Pro Destroy. 2 deaths of the game so far. Not off to an easy point over there. Pro Destroy, the jungler for Fiends. Not only just a jungler, he's running on the Barats. Magic not able to really keep him alive. Kind of protecting Kohari on the bot side against Basic. The king of recall spamming down there. Showcasing his comfortability in the gold lane. 3-1 though. 1 turtle under their belt. And Fiends yet to find a response.
And he's getting denied a lot of jungle here. Mobazane in all of his camps right now. Pro Destroy 2 levels down overall. Oh, a lot of damage. Basic looking for the final shot. Kohari trying to survive, but unable to do it. Nicolette picks up the kill. Now Basic on the chase up against Magic. Watch for Churro Bonnie here. Not going to try to force the engage. Misses the Terrify. Wall comes up, and Fiends will be able to get away.
Yeah, some good placement over there from Cold World. Stopping Fiends from rotating around with ease. Up to 4-1 on the scoreboard and up by 2,500 gold within the past 5 minutes. BTK showcasing their mastery, getting everything they came for. Mobazane and now ready for the invade.
Oh, gets the taunt off. I want to say he was able to steal it. No, doesn't get it. He didn't have the retry. I was like, I thought he was about to take that one.
A very close call.
A little bit of damage on a Kohari. Basic finally takes down the tower. Cold World able to get the wild charge, but the rest of the team is there. Cold World switches gears and moves back. They got what they came for. They take a tower. Good win for BTK.
Yeah, Nicolette, very good positioning so far. Able to teleport at any moment to keep Fiends on their toes. They were able to find a kill onto Kohari as well, running on this carry, which is going to delay him his late game potential. Now, Kohari, we know he's one of those marksmen that likes to play heavily aggressive, but you have to be careful, especially with Nicolette on the table. She's waiting for you to overextend. Big play!
Nicolette does so much damage on a Kohari there. Malo able to get the double kill, though, and clean up what she started. Well played for BTK. Cold World coming around the side, looking for maybe a wild charge or just getting vision for the team. BTK, now that they've taken the lead, they're right back to being aggressive.
We just talked about it, too. Look at Nicolette already ready for the setup.
Diversion. Mobazane takes the taunt too, trying to buy that split second, but not there in time. But what they do is cut the lane, and Basic takes another tower.
Now the siege for the orange buff.
Ooh, Daytona's welcome does land on to Mobazane. Mobazane in the midst of 4 members will go down finally. Wild charge does come out from Cold World. Nicolette now trying to run away. Hangs out, gets a couple more shots. Malo dashes in, getting some nice damage on Uneven. But they decide to go back and just take another tower, and they switch gears.
And that's still overall a good trade for them. They lost Mobazane, but they take the tier 1 turret in the mid lane, but Uneven on the chase on the Cold World. Should be able to get back to safety, but Basic.
Ooh. Basic dashes in. He's being aggressive. He's felt good the past 2 games. He's felt confident the past 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, it was Kohari the Brave. What is it? What do we call Basic? We got to get a nickname for him over here.
He's the Retry God, man. Come on. We know that.
Oh, my. All right, Basic the Retry God. But you are going to see 6-2 for BTK. Now up by 4 kills up against Fiends and 3,000 gold and climbing almost to 4,000. Cold World very low, though. Needs to get out of there. We'll be able to hug that wall to negate the CC. The Bloodthirsty Kings still holding on to every single turret. Hasn't lost a single one and up by 3 towers and 2 turtles. Diversion play, though.
Where are they going? Oh, down to the boss side. On to Kohari. Kohari's in trouble. Milo flickers in. Gets a wild charge on a Magic there. But the Blessing of the Moon Goddess does give some heal. Pro Destroy able to get the nom-noms. On to Mielo. Mielo goes down. Fiends finally picking up a kill. We're starting to see the snapback. This is what I'm talking about. Right after 7 minutes, you got to start to be careful. Mobazane is going to get the taunt, though, on to Kohari. Kohari able to dash back. The heal comes in, and everyone's safe for now.
Yeah, Magic doing really well in the Blessing of the Moon Goddess, keeping the team alive. Kohari was very low right there, and then he procced it and was able to help him to sustain himself in that fight, and it turned around and worked in Fiend's favor. BTK definitely need to be a little bit more careful on these engagements. Speaking of being careful, diversion play from Nicolette.
Ooh, they're waiting in that bush, Cold World. Oh, wild charge. Let's lock on a 2, and the cleanup happens. Nicolette with the killing spree.
Clean up on all 3. Clean up on all 3. BTK, Nicolette. If anybody's getting an MVP, it's got to be her with the smash 3 plays of this Louis, a hero that we've seen her use time and time again on the professional scene, and it's been kind of known. I would say this is a signature pick over there from Nicolette, and she's showcasing just how strong the Louis can be.
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming definitely a problem. You never know. I mean, at that point, you start to put fear into them, right? It's like you just never know where they are, man. They could be in any bush at any time. Fiends has to think about that. Now it's become a mental game as well. I think at this point, Fiends, they just need to stay grouped up, man. I mean, I know it's tempting to try to, like, go and try to stop them from split pushing, but you got to group up. You got to wait for the next, maybe this Lord, and maybe try to make the play before it becomes too much.
Yeah, but I mean, Nicolette able to pull a trick out of her bag any second of this game with this Lu Yi has been a problem. Even when you think they're at one place, they're at another, and I think that's where they're kind of shining on. I mean, look at Nicolette, 5 assists so far, almost tied up with Cold World, who's the roam for the Bloodthirsty Kings, and she's also leading the way in the most kills. You are seeing a great Guardian's Barrier dropping down.
Ooh, the pincer, they're around the back, the knock-up. The slay, but wait, Protosaur able to get the nom-noms, spit back Mobazane, get the stun on 2 members. Blessing Moon Goddess does keep them up for just a minute. Uneven now into the midst of the fight, but Magic taking too much damage. The Appraisal's Wrath takes down 2. A double kill going to Mobazane, make it a triple. Zane under the tower, exerting dominance.
Zane the main, able to
my main
properly go in there, take down 3 members with the triple kill. Pro destroy Magic and Uneven, 3 for none trade, now increasing that lead even further for them. Fiends having a hard time keeping up with the momentum and the pace of the Bloodthirsty Kings. Kohari the Brave, though, willing to take the fight.
Oh, did he go too deep?
No!
Wild charge knocks him up. Too brave today. Basic takes him out. Magic and Chirobani forced to watch and then get pushed in. Another Appraisal's Wrath paired up with a final slash. They're going to move in. Magic goes down. And now Uneven is alone. Pro Destroy trying to come around the backside. Knows it's not a fight he wants to take today. BTK on a roll.
Milo with the alley-oop to Mobazane with the final slash, and now the recall
rips him out of the base. Pro Destroy looking for something but finds nothing.
My goodness, BTK breakdancing with confidence right now with the recall spams, ready to knock into the base of Fiends. Uneven left to defend with Chirobami.
BTK feeling themselves right now. BTK here to play, here to slay. Fiends not feeling okay. All right, Lord gonna be up now. And BTK aren't even forcing it. They're not even going straight for it. They feel good about this matchup right now.
Yeah, you're already seeing BTK in a great position to possibly try and close this out. Here in the next few minutes, if Fiends is not careful, Lord has spawned in. They may wait for it to go to the enhanced version. Kohari, though, the overextension. He is not afraid of anything. The recall back Milo. He lets him go for free.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want that smoke right now. Because even though Kohari's behind, he's still a little bit of a threat, at least in the 1v1. Lord brought down to half health. Cold World looking to push Fiends back. Magic does have the blessing right now. Magic taking way too much damage. Forced to use the ultimate early. Milo finds him. Pro Destroy now once again in the midst of 4 members and just getting shredded down. Kohari and Uneven maybe looking for a play here. Gonna have to try to get away. They don't want to take that fight right now.
Yeah, definitely don't want to take that fight. 2 members falling for Fiends. BTK has the numbers and they're looking for more.
Kohari, the brave Kohari on the run, whatever you want to call him. Gonna get knocked up. He's able to kite back. They're chasing him down.
He's out of there.
Looking for the cutoff. He's out of there. Looking like a home run. Uneven here to help out. Kohari should be safe. Cold World's like, no. Oh, Cold World now. Maybe in a little bit of trouble. Oh, they bait him back, and now uneven. Taking way too much damage. Does go down. Magic able to pick up the kill. Kohari might just be next. Blessing to move. God is able to give him the health. Appraisal's Wrath comes down, but Fiends able to just survive. Still biding time, though, is this part of Fiends' plans. BTK are not going for that Lord. Nicolette's like, yo, I'm out of here. Forget this. I'm back to the mid.
Kohari the Flash, the quick escape, and now going in for more frontlining for Fiends.
Full world able to get the knock up. Melo dashes in, looking for the knock, looking for the final slash. Finally connects. Magic in trouble along with Churro Bonnie. Basic goes down though. Churro finds him. Uneven now back on the map. That is actually a win for Fiends in that fight there.
Yeah, but Nicolette providing some great CC.
Ooh, Kohari deleted. Pro Destroy might just be next. Milo with the final slash on to four members. Pro Destroy goes down. Churro a little bit of trouble as well. Milo gonna chase, gonna look, gonna hunt, but finally back off. BTK needs to maybe back off. Are they pushing this too hard? Cold World now does have the wild charge, waiting for the moment to strike, just hanging out. Magic in a little bit of trouble. Appraisal's Wrath! The damage from Mobazane right now is out of this world.
Mobazane looking like whack-a-mole out there with those Appraiser's Wrath.
Bonking him.
Slam dunk on the Magic, evaporating this man. And you are going to see a lot of members falling right there for Fiends. BTK overall winning that trade. 10K over there for Basic on this Irithel. Hoss Claws, Berserker's Fury is going to have that Sia Halberd for the anti-heal and the Malefic Roar to top that off. The Lord will fall. BTK will claim that, and now Fiends forced to defend, barely holding on to that tier 2 turret in the mid lane and almost down to their inhibitors.
Yeah, that is a chunky health bar for that Fredrin right there. The shield is out of, I mean, the heal back is out of control, and that's why those Appraisal's Wrath are just so out of this world. Nicolette with the diversion. Cold War once again, catching them from the offside, but the Blessing of the Move Goddess keeps them all alive, and now they're looking for a moment to come back. Cold World very low. Those tricks are starting to get a little old, and Fiends isn't going to keep falling for them. They're not going to keep on working as this game moves forward. Nice Atona's welcome. Gets a stun onto Basic there. Kohari now coming in. Looking for the outplay. Can he get it? Kohari goes down. He tried, but is unable to do it. 1 against 2, looking but falls short. Now Nicolette and Cold World back in the midst of this fight. Gets a duality on a Magic. Magic able to heal up. Basic still holding the distance. The tower goes down. Fiends back under their final defense of inhibitors.
Yeah, off to a final stand. BTK opening up the base as the Lord crashes into the inhibitor on the top side.
That's going to be a lot. Can Fiends do something here to defend? Kohari is down. They've lost some of their shred, but the Lord is down to half health already. BTK, do they want to try to end this here? Oh, the final slash does lock on to Pro Destroy. Milo back in. Knock up. Taken out. Basic able to pick up the kill.
Kohari!
Magic taking so much damage, but Kohari is up and ready to go. Speedy Light Wheel. No! Not able to connect just yet. Nicolette able to find another. It's nothing but Kohari and Churro against the world. And the minions are closing in. Will this be a 2-0? Fiends still trying to put it all on the line here. BTK feeling confident, dropping the toss. Just lock onto the base and finish it. Kohari gonna be the next to fall. Milo looking for it, but now Kohari gets the shutdown. And now the minions are back up. It's Churro and Kohari still against the world, but BTK's not playing anymore. They find the 2-0 sweep.
BTK looking stronger than ever, shutting down Fiends, not creating the opportunity for the reverse sweep. Able to close the doors on that amazing victory. A great finish and a very explosive match from both sides, as you are seeing the team stats. 25, 6, and 60 overall assists from the Bloodthirsty Kings. 372,000 damage, almost hitting that 10 mark for the team rating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little tired. My stomach hurts. The diaphragm is feeling it. Definitely some crazy fights. BTK comes out on top. Now maybe playing with their food a little bit too much, but definitely an entertaining game. And Fiends, like, they were able to buy some time there, man. If BTK let that go a little bit longer, the opportunities was there. Kohari may be a little too brave at times, but still almost making the statement happen. Basic still ends up getting the win in some of those final 1v1s, but a good series at that.
I think my highlight was seeing Kohari versus Milo. Both of them facing off. We seen Kohari in the bush. He ran to the bush. Milo didn't even want that smoke, but then they got the 1v1. and Kohari was able to get the kill, but overall BTK was able to get the game. As you are going to look at 14 assists over there from Kohari, but 19 assists from Nicolette on the Lu Yi with 4 kills on the board. If anybody got MVP in that game, it's got to be her.
Yeah, 4-0 and 19, just played it so cleanly. Was definitely the playmaker. Nicolette and Cole World, I mean, the combo right there every single time. The diversion and the wild charge was deadly, was lethal.
Yeah, definitely lethal, as you are seeing both the head-to-head for the junglers. Mobazane up against Protostorm. Mobazane again, another rating over double digits, hitting that 10%. He's able to keep majority of the junglers he goes against below 5 with how well he's able to rotate and get these objectives, and definitely shows you why they are that top 2 contender. Speaking of top 2 contenders, winning this series officially earns their spot in the top 2 and forces Fiends to the 3rd position.
I mean, I think at this point, they are pretty much clear and ready to go, unless they take some horrible sweep next year and Fiends gets a sweep against GG. I think BTK, like, that is the only opportunity, really. Nighthorde, Nighthorde can't catch up even if they get a sweep. So at this point, BTK is pretty much secured into top 2 for the playoffs.
Yeah, and you are looking at the overall stats, the teamfight participation. 92% over there from Nicolette, 100% from Chirobami on the other side, though. Definitely showcases the importance of the mid laners for both teams, but Nicolette able to step to the playing field, a wizard out there for the Bloodthirsty Kings.
Bloodthirsty Kings, man, they came in thirsty, consider them quenched, taking a 2-0 win over the Fiends. I'll tell you what, dude. I thought that second game, I thought Fiends were I thought they were waiting it out. I thought Kohari was gonna take some traction and make something happen, but you know, Zane got in there and said, "No dice for you, sir."
Yeah, Zane was bonking. You said it perfectly. We see just whack-a-mole out there every time. Bonk, bonk, bonk. It showed us why he picked up the Fredrin instead of the Barats. I mean, perfectly.
Yeah, he was very comfortable, and I mean, they even decided to go the non-route of banning all of his pickups, so he was loving being able to pick up that Fredrin. A lot of teams don't even give him that opportunity.
I feel like I still sometimes underestimate, you know, Fredrin's one of my favorite heroes within the game, but I still feel like I underestimate his ultimate's the Appraiser's Wrath, its damage, because, you know, we saw that Estes cruising around probably 55, 60% health, and just one shot,
Bonk.
and just, man, absolutely incredible.
Probably one of my funnest skills. I think it's one of my favorite skills to watch. Just crash down on 3 people. It's just got that. It's something about it. It's got some flair to it. That skill right there.
It reminds me of the. You remember back in the day, it used to be the instead of the Fredrin jungle being one of the main, who was it? It was Ballman. Remember the Ballman?
Ballman, yeah, just
lethal
slam,
counter.
exactly.
Yeah.
The lethal counter. It's got a lethal counter vibe to it.
Yeah, Fredrin kind of took that mark away from him, and now it's kind of that
Ballman,
staple.
Weezy. You actually
Yeah.
cosplayed as Ballman one time, remember?
I know.
First
Oh my
miss.
God, I do. I don't know if we can consider that one Ballman though. I don't know what that was, but hey, maybe next time we'll get a little bit closer.
All right, who do we got going on for the MVP of the series?
I'm Nicolette? Nicolette?
It has to be.
Or Zane?
Has to
Nicolette
be.
or Zane? Nicolette or Zane? Nicolette with a
Hey.
clean one. Game number 1 was playing on the Faramis, which there it didn't feel as much, but came in so clutch with a lot of those Nether Realms.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Nicolette, the utility that she provides for the team, right? She's not going in for the kills. She's going in for the opportunity, the initiations that BTK can capitalize on. A lot of times, the diversion, teleporting to the right place for the team to make the most out of the situation. She's always keeping a tight eye on the map, on the objectives, and never fails to hit the mark.
Yeah, I think that we really get to see some of Nicolette's ability to play in different, you know, diverse heroes. You know, when she was rocking that Faramis, really coming in clutch so many times, saving her teammates, really just doing a fantastic job. And then on the low Yi, playing extremely aggressive and just really putting the damage down.